finally got myself an actual blaze head. They have got, I think, one of the lowest drop rates out of all of the heads. So I was quite happy to have got. Oh, right.
Hello and welcome to the Truly Bedrock Rundown, where we cover the many derps of the Truly Bedrock SMP. My name is Coalbuster and I'll be voicing this week's episode. On screen right now is the rest of the team that made this episode possible. As always, all the links to the Truly Bedrock members will be in the description below. Now without further ado, let's begin. We kick off the week with Liara completing the first section of the Nether Highway.
What do you folks think about? Like, how do you feel about the way that is? Should I put the lights on there? Is it good as is?
Back in the Mesa, Lai discusses a future Undead Lease villager complex and her plan to sell golden carrots in the shopping area. Plans are interrupted though when an AFK session goes wrong at the expense of many villagers' lives.
Yeah, hi.
What?
Care to explain what it is going on?
After a quick detour to disarm a trap for Tis during stream day though, plans are back in motion and all the villagers with item for emerald trades are moved to a new area. Liara makes some more progress on the Nether Highway and then gets into wrangling an idiot to force cheaper trades on the entire villages. Working with a different type of trading, Tiston gears up in his new netherite armor and sets up a piglin bartering station. After he successfully gets away with keeping the elytra he borrowed from Mr. Beardstone, before Tis can finish up the nether base, this happens.
I came out here to just carry on working on this. This was gonna be my Strider stable. And I noticed something. My Strider's gone. He's just... Beardstone must have killed my Strider.
In a more somber change of pace, Tis buries Stridey McStridey face. In order to enact his revenge, Tis begins a prank on Mr. B next. Tis puts together a design for his underground tunnel and goes on a mission to expand his head collection, making a bit of a mess of the Guardian farm in the process. Mr. Beardstone has been on a fox hunt. No, not that fox. On Mr. B's agenda this week is to name his village, remembering this is going to be hard. Unhappy with the music choices to accompany his nether portal, Beardstone borrows this copy of Pickstep. Once that's taken care of, Mr. B builds a new dock and a greenhouse for some problematic trees.
And there we have it. We now have a greenhouse and I'm hoping that this is going to help my little tree here grow.
Having forgotten the name of the village again, Mr. Beardstone decides it should now be called Sennery and adds a fishing shack to the area. The trees in his greenhouse still have refused to grow, but he has found a solution.
Turns out that the reason for it, or at least one of the possible reasons for it, is, well, I was being a bit silly. I completely forgot to give my tree a name. Everyone knows that if a tree is not named, then obviously it's not going to grow. I mean, what's it got to grow for if it's not named?
Leaving the trees for now, Mr. Beardstone terraforms some cliffs, puts together the entrance to a mine, and decorates the inside of the town bookshop. Mr. Beardstone has one last thing to check on. Zloy also has a new pet, Grump the Ghast, who is blocking his path through the nether. Sadly, Grump's life is cut short by an unfortunate Thorns accident.
Both can be nudged using water. And on Bedrock, I don't think that is an option. Especially here in the Nether, where I don't feel moving the ghast away from. So we will have to figure out some sort of other way to manipulate where the fireball lands, without having to just, you know, do what we've been... Oh. I still have thorns on my boots.
Zloy isn't too bummed out about this though, and gets a new ghast for a fully AvivaKitty Basalt Farm. Allstore is all out of wood, as a few mischievous server mates, Blue and Prowl, have bought it all out.
Whether you live in a city or in a swamp, whether you are a redstone genius or a builder extraordinaire, one thing was certain: all of us need blocks. And diamonds to buy those blocks. So no matter if your wallet is dry as a desert or brimming with cash, we await you here at the All-Star.
Once we are traded to a lovely commercial for Allstore, Zloy sets out on a wood gathering mission and briefly tempted by Jesse B's spruce spawn house. With a now goal in mind, Zloy begins to put together a plan to supply the Allstore with more wood than can ever be bought out. The solution landed on is an automatic wood farm. Having lost Grump the Third at the Basalt Farm, Sloy has to capture more ghasts. He repurposes the failed Skelly farm into a ghast farm, ready to catch as many ghasts as needed, but the transportation still needs to be set up. Moving on, Silent has named his netherite gear and puts it to the test against the new megaboss, the Slime Wither. This amalgamation has come to life thanks to his new one-chunk slime farm. Once completed, Silent gathers up everything he needs for the next step of his project.
Series of mad dash crafting later, I believe that is the final bit of resources that we need to build the base. In fact, we even got a little bit extra, so we are looking very, very good. I'm super happy about this. We are ready to start construction of our chunk base tower.
The exterior of his one-chunk base is done, he just needs to fill it with farms now. Dan finally emerges from his slumber this week, although he is looking a little bit green. Hopefully that goes away with a little bit of fresh air and sunshine. After touring spawn, Dan heads into the Nether to check out the new highway.
Let's go have a look in here and show you what's going on in here. Look at this. It's nowhere near finished, I know that, but my god, this looks beautiful.
Feeling inspired, Dan plans to work on his own Nether Tunnel, but first he needs to mend his pick. So of course he tries out the first farm he comes across. After that incident, Dan gets to work on his own personal Nether hub and tunnel. In the overworld, DB comes across a frozen tundra village, sparking some mechanical farm ideas. He finally joins the Cool Kids Club with his first agent debris, then sets up a stray farm with 4 platforms, kicking his industrial village into full swing. Groover also has a farm to work on, as he needs a way to dispose of the dangerous wither skulls he keeps getting from his coal farm. He finds the perfect spot for a wither killer and creates the best wither-proof safety room he can.
Right, we're down to the last wither that I'm actually going to be killing today. And basically it just frees up a slot in my ender chest. So I've got 8 nether stars going on there. This is going to be number 9. And as you might notice, the sharp-eyed among you, I died.
Once it's completed, Groover crafts 9 more beacons to donate towards the Nether Highway. Impressive now, but in a few weeks we might be laughing at such low numbers. For once not making a farm, Foxy builds the first house at his base, of which he uses the basement as his new storage room. The rest of the house is filled with nice decorations, and the land outside is decorated too with a path. Having had enough of not making farms, Foxy puts together a fungus farm and messes around with huge fungi, which he uses the products of to decorate his nether portal room.
Incredibly happy with how this turned out. It's a little bit crazy, it's a little bit strange, but I really like what I've done here.
Slack almost dies in this episode while trying to rescue Foxy's Sphinx from a zombified pigling. We get to see Slack's point of view of the Blaze Farm shenanigans he and Foxy got up to last week and the details of how they made their Guardian farm.
Well, the thing is, I've never seen a chest fill up as quickly.
Foxy, I'm looking at this with the entity pack on. This is crazy.
Did someone mention a built-in Basalt Farm? On his own time, Slack met up with BJ to trade food in exchange for netherrack. He also exchanges eggs for a ghast head and gives BJ a tour of his base. Deadcraft gets a gift from BJ. Ew. The lab once again fully functional, Deadcraft tests his samples from DB, Tis and Jesse against the DNA on the band-aid, but none are a match. Examining the band-aid closer, Deadcraft finds some new clues.
The scan of the band-aid, the only piece of evidence that we have currently, says scorch marks, like something was burned. Okay, green skin fragment, plaster, wood fragment, red dust. Traces of red and brown, small amounts of carbon dust, species inconclusive.
Combined with a scan of the suspicious hair from earlier, it seems our mystery is solved. Place your bets now, folks, or forever be spoiled. That's right, it was Sloy. Raise your hand if you saw this coming from the start. Deadcraft leaves the mystery behind him for the time being and focuses on the slimes that have seemingly invaded his base. He puts together a farm to grind up the slimes and is happy with the 4.5 stacks of slime balls he produces out of the former nuisance. Jessie also has some mobs in her base, but these ones are here intentionally, courtesy of Zap. Ready to get to work, Jessie buys a stack of TNT off Slack and blasts a giant hole into the ground. After smoothing out the TNT carnage with a pickaxe or two, Jessie begins work on a bridge and discusses future terraforming plans.
Foxy and some other people, and this is going to be an entire season-long project, I'm pretty sure, just because of how big this scale is and how much detail needs to go into it. And I'm so excited to start on our round main base up there, but that, again, is going to take some time.
Exciting stuff! Speaking of exciting, Rogue has a new gambling machine, an all-or-nothing game based on a minigame from The Legend of Zelda. This is the first minigame on Season 2 of TB and the start of the gaming island.
And of course I'm most likely going to do a tutorial on this one. I was really excited about doing it, so I decided to do it on the server first, and again, with this being the gaming area and no games here, I thought it would be fun to place the brand new build here as the first game on the whole server.
With a few tests, the game is ready to be played. Someone who isn't playing games is Killadrone, who has made progress on his storage system. Next up is a creeper farm for his industrial area. After a desperate search for some magma blocks in the shopping district, Killa is told he can borrow some from Prowl, although it takes some investigation to find him. While building his creeper farm, Killa discovers a very not GT and useful new Bedrock bug, only to find out it's not new at all.
So I just found a brand new little bug here in Bedrock Edition for 1.16. Some of you guys may already know about this, but as you can see, if you're mining here, you mine at normal speed. But if you're sprinting, it's as if you have haste while you're running. Well, the rest of Truly Bedrock informed me that that is not new and that it's been around for years. So, yeah, I'm just now noticing. Anyway,
we forget that ever happened and Killa finishes up the farm. In other PB and K news, Blue Jay has hit the milestone of 10,000 subs on YouTube. Congrats, Blue!
And it is just an amazing feeling. Like, just the support has been overwhelming tonight. Everybody has been so encouraging and excited for me and just dropping all sorts of nice comments and stuff in the chat. So thank you to everybody that's watched this live, and thank you to everybody that's watching this over on YouTube. Really appreciate the support. Just overwhelmed and ridiculous that we're at 10,000 subscribers. Let's keep rolling. Let's keep that thing growing. Here's to the next 10,000. On to 20. Let's go.
Blue still has to sit through Prowl explaining how their gold farm will work though. They need turtle eggs, which they acquire from Liara. With that done, Blue acquires his own player hat and then decorates the inside of his and Prowl's iron shop, putting invisible armor stands to good use. Once finished, he comes back to the completed gold farm and this happens.
I think we did something wrong. Oh no! They're flying out of the machine. There's too many. Oh my gosh. Just please don't tell Prowl. Please.
What do we expect at this point? Well, Prowl expects that the gold farm will be a success, but he forgets to place the turtle egg while upgrading the farm. Have fun placing that in later. Missing egg notwithstanding, Prowl is pleasantly surprised with the amount of items he has been getting from the new and improved gold farm and wraps up by discussing his plans for the future. And that concludes the 7th week of Truly Bedrock Season 2. As always, be sure to check out all the members' videos, as we always cover the highlights, but we might have left out your new favorite moment. If you want to make sure we cover your favorite moment, make sure to post it in the Discord, links below. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss a new rundown, and follow us on Twitter for updates and behind the scenes sneak peeks. That's all we have time for today. Goodbye.